CBS Radio brings you The Couple Next Door, written by Peg Lynch and starring Peg Lynch and Ethel and Bunce.
Good gracious, the alarm goes off and you leap out of bed. Are you turning over a new leaf or something?
Listen, after being late to work yesterday, and I know Cranshaw didn't believe a word of why I was late.
I know. What you said.
Yeah, well, I figure I'd better be early this morning, or at least on time.
No,
Boy, you look tired. Didn't you sleep well?
No. Bobby cried, and I went in and changed him. When I got back to bed, I couldn't get to sleep again. I heard noise in the attic.
Oh, now look, honey, I went up to the attic last night, and I looked everywhere. I didn't see a thing.
Well, I don't care. When I was up there yesterday morning, I know I saw an animal run behind some boxes, and I'm sure it was a raccoon. And with these great big black circles around his eyes.
Yeah, well, that must have been me. It's the way I look. Golly, I just can't seem to get enough sleep, no matter what time I go to bed.
Well, I know I saw something that looked like a raccoon, and in the middle of the night, I heard something in the attic.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, what?
Okay, I don't know. Look, I got to shower and shave. I can't go looking around the attic now. If there is a raccoon, I don't know how to catch it anyhow. Just call somebody.
Call somebody, you say? You complain about the bills, and you always just say, call somebody. Anyhow, call who?
Oh, honey, I don't know. Look in the phone book.
Well, what do I look for? It certainly isn't going to be classified as man who catches raccoons in attics. I mean, what do you call
we've
somebody?
probably got mice up there. After all, we live out here practically in the woods. Put a few mouse traps up there.
Going up there at all. I'll bet raccoons bite, don't they?
I don't know anything about raccoons.
Well, how it got there, I don't know, but I know we have one in our attic, and something has to be done about it.
Okay, how to do something. Just call somebody. In the meantime, get my breakfast, will you? I cannot be late to work today.
Nowhere else in radio but on CBS Radio can you hear Arthur Godfrey's great daytime mischief-making, or Gary Moore's Monday through Friday comedy shows. Every weekday, climb aboard the fancy of one of the world's most unpredictable humorists on Arthur Godfrey Time on CBS Radio. And each of these same days, pick up a treasury of fun-making minted by Gary Moore with his assistant alchemist, Durwood Kirby. The delightful devilment of Arthur Godfrey and the pleasant pleasantries of Gary Moore are just two of the regular daytime features heard here every weekday. Another is Funny Side Up, a potpourri of pleasantries and spoofery currently starring Dick Van Dyke, Pat Carroll, Kenny Delmar, and Parker Fennelly. Join this amiable foursome as they give light, fantastic treatment to offbeat items in the news. Funny Side Up will keep your sense of humor in high gear those same days Arthur Godfrey and Gary Moore take on the same task.
Is that you, dear?
It is I. It is your lord and master bringing home the bacon after a hard day's work at the office. Boy, what a day it was. I tell you, I am beat.
Well, I was right, dear. I hate to greet you with bad news the minute you walk in the door, but I
Oh,
want you to
no.
hear...
At least wait till I get my coat off.
Well, I have had a terrible day, too. First of all, what's the matter?
I don't know. I think there should be some kind of a law that when a man comes home after a hard day's work at the office, his wife should greet him at the door with kisses and smiles and lead him to the sofa and put a pillow under his head and just say, now you rest, darling, until dinner.
Well, I'm sorry, but don't you want to hear what goes on around the house? Aren't you interested?
Well, yeah, sure, but not the minute I walk in the door. Unless it's good news. No, when I get home, I just feel like collapsing on the sofa and not even thinking.
Well, that's the way you feel after dinner, too. You fall asleep while I'm doing dishes and sleep for an hour or two, and then it's time to go to bed, and I never get to talk to you at all. I mean, I really did... Well, all right, never mind. Maybe we can talk at the dinner table.
No, you got my curiosity aroused now. What happened, huh?
Well, about the noise in the attic, dear. Elinor said to call an exterminator, so I did. And he came out, and he said we definitely had a raccoon up there, but he couldn't find him. But what is worse, we have bats.
Bats?
Bats.
Well, that's great. Great. Now I got bats in my belfry.
Well, he didn't know how they're getting in, but he says we have to do something because some man in town had them, and he was bitten by one, and the bat had rabies, and the man died. Because I understand that if you get rabies, it's just the most horrible agony. Oh, I haven't told you what else happened.
Honey, save it, can you, please, until after dinner?
All right, I guess so.
Bessie, I want you to turn down that radio up there. Your father's asleep on the sofa. In fact, turn it off.
Her father is not asleep on the sofa. No
Well, I
such
thought
luck.
you were. Well, I wanted to turn it off anyhow. I can't stand it. Betsy! Honestly, if she's only 8 years old and she started listening to that, I don't know how I'm going to go through these next 10 years.
Well, I don't know how we're going to get through this next year. Look at these bills. Look, this year we were really going to cut down on Christmas expenses. I tell you, it's worse than ever. Look at this bill from the department store alone. They must have made a mistake.
I imagine it's itemized. I haven't gone over them yet. Anyhow, I'm glad you're not sleeping because on top of the raccoon and the bats in the attic, which is bad enough, we are now faced with something else.
What is this bill from the appliance shop? $8.75.
For the toaster.
We buy a new toaster?
No, we got it repaired.
Repaired?
Yeah.
We just bought the thing. Why does it need repairs?
Oh, because it was either burning the toast or not toasting it at all. And you said, will you please get this darn thing fixed? Well, that isn't exactly what you said. You used the most awful language in front of Betsy that day, dear, really.
Well, why should we get a bill for repairs? We just bought it a few weeks ago. It had a year's guarantee.
We bought it exactly 1 year ago from the day you said that, so that's the day I took it in to be repaired, and our guarantee had run out the day before.
The day before?
Yes, and when I said to the man, surely 1 day doesn't count, he just shrugged his shoulders and said, your guarantee's run out. Do you want to repair it or don't you? You know.
Oh.
Well, anyhow, to get back to what I was saying, and I think you should know this, that we have to discuss this tonight because the Elwins are very upset. Now, frankly, I don't feel that it is our fault that the alligator was electrocuted. I said that it seemed to me. And I told Mrs. Elwin.
What's this bill from the... What did you say?
I told Mrs. Elwin, I said I did not feel that it was
No. You don't feel that it's our fault that what?
The alligator was electrocuted. Apparently that's what happened, and I said to Mrs. Elwin, the alligator, dear, that Betsy brought home in a cage that belonged to Susie Elwin, and then we couldn't find it, yesterday.
Oh, yes.
All right, well, it was electrocuted. That's what the TV repairman said must have happened. And Mrs. Elwin came up to see me today, and she was very unpleasant about the whole thing. And she feels we should replace the alligator. Well, I said I certainly did not feel that it was our responsibility. It could happen to anybody, you know.
Oh, sure.
So,
Lots of people have alligators running around the house. They should expect to have them electrocuted.
Are you being facetious?
Look, I don't know what the Sam Hill you're talking about.
Some friends of the Elwins in Florida sent Susie Elwin a live baby alligator. She let Betsy keep it overnight. It got out. It got lost.
Yes.
We
I know all that.
Find it. Well, apparently it climbed in our TV set, and when somebody turned it on, it got electrocuted. And it must have happened last night. So when the TV set didn't work today, I called repairman. Now, he arrived at the same time, wouldn't you know, as the Batman.
The Batman, yeah. He's the same as the Raccoon Man, isn't he?
Yes, the same man.
Okay, and the Raccoon Batman arrived at the same time as the Alligator Man.
No, the TV repair... What's the matter with you tonight?
Look, I have got Christmas bills that look like the national debt. I got bats in my belfry and alligators who get electrocuted in my TV set, and... You say, what's the matter with me tonight?
Well, the point is, dear.
Yeah, let's get to the point.
Mrs. Allen feels that we should replace the alligator, and I don't feel it's our responsibility. I'm sorry about it, of course, but we don't know anybody in Florida. I mean, well, we know the Chases, but I don't feel that we know them well enough to ask them to go to all the trouble of going out and buying a live baby alligator to send to the Elwins to replace the one. You know, do you? I mean, what do you think we should do?
You know what I'm going to do? Forget about it.
Well, I thought maybe you might call Mr. Elwin and sort of straighten things out.
Call Mr. Elwin? I don't even know Mr. Elwin. Why should I call him?
Mrs. Elwin was very upset, and she said, well, I will speak to my husband about this tonight, and she sailed out. So if you don't call him, he will probably call you, and I thought you ought to know what it's all about.
Well, I still don't know. Furthermore, I don't much care. And if this Elwin guy calls me, I'll tell him so. Pete's sake, I've got more important things on my mind to worry about.
Now, Mrs. Elwin is the excitable type, and Betsy...
Well, so am I.
Betsy tells me that Mr. Elwin has a perfectly terrible temper. She's heard him.
Well, I have too.
Well, now, what if that's Mr. Elwin now? What do I tell him?
Tell him to go jump in the lake. Boy, all this fuss over nothing.
It does seem to me you should take some of the risk.
Oh.
Hello? Yes? Who's calling? Oh, yes, we are. All right, I'll tell him. Goodbye. Well, there you are.
What?
Mr. Elwyn is on his way up to talk to you. Oh, I hope he doesn't start something.
Look, if he tries to start something, I will finish it. I have had just about enough of this.
Is that you?
Yep.
Oh, do you know what time it is?
Yeah, well, now, just a second. It's exactly 20 minutes after 2. You should be asleep, dear.
I should be asleep. You should be asleep.
I had a very nice time. Well, you and Mrs. Elwyn didn't hit it off because her husband is very nice.
Where have you been? You walked out of the house at 8:30 to have a little talk with Mr. Elwyn. You come back 6 hours later. I have been just frantic, dear. I thought... Oh, I've imagined everything. Auto accidents, maybe that he's hit you. You're lying somewhere.
Hit me? Well, look, we had a great time. We went down to the bowling alley, then we went over to the Viking Club.
What did you decide about the alligator?
The what?
The alligator. That's what was all about.
Oh, golly, I don't think we even discussed the alligator. Yes, we did, too, yes. I brought it up. I said, look, I am very sorry about the alligator. And he said, you are? I'm not. Nasty little thing, wasn't it? That's what he said, yeah. That's all he said about it.
It was Mrs. Elwyn's mother who sent the alligator from Florida, and she's coming to visit soon, and that's why Mrs. Elwyn is upset.
Yeah, well, Mr. Elwyn couldn't care less. You know, he's a very funny guy.
What in heaven's name did you have to talk about with him for 6 hours?
Well, mostly I was trying to persuade him not to desert his wife and 5 kiddies and sail off to a desert island somewhere.
Oh, be serious.
I am serious. Look, I mean, he comes home dead tired from the office, and his wife lights into him with all this talk about alligators, and the poor guy, well, he was just as bewildered as I was. Now, I mean, look, try and get the picture.
I get it.
Well...
Why don't wives learn not to greet their husbands at the door with all sorts of idiotic and tiresome domestic problems?
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's what we were talking about. Look, I know it is selfish.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't selfish at all. And I don't know why we women do it, but I guess we always do. However, in the future, I promise, I shall greet you soothingly at the door every night with your slippers and a hanger for your coat. You know what's going to happen after a while?
What?
You're going to say, why don't you ever tell me anything anymore?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
will, dear.
Yeah, that's right.
Every 53 minutes, somewhere, one child is born with cerebral palsy. The cure for this crippling, disabling debility of the brain hasn't yet been found. But the United Cerebral Palsy Association is financing important research to find both cause and cure. Help speed the day when medicine can make possible the return of the palsy to complete normalcy. Send a contribution now to Palsy in care of your local postmaster. The address again, Palsy, care of your postmaster. The Couple Next Door stars Peg Lynch and Ethel and Bunce.